In this video tutorial, I will be showing you how to use the camera tool in ActivInspire. The first thing to know is where to find the camera tool itself, and it happens to be accessible in two different locations. The first place that you can find the camera tool is in the upper left-hand corner, going to the Tools menu. I'll left-click on that, and from the drop-down list, I'll see Camera towards the bottom. And when I hover over Camera, over to the right, I can see 5 different options of how I'd like to capture a picture. I can find this camera tool also by going over to the main toolbox and left-clicking on the main menu button. Again, I'm going to select Tools, and from the drop-down list, I'll see Camera at the very bottom, and to the left, those same 5 options are available for how I'd like to capture a picture. My area snapshot, point-to-point, freehand, window snapshot, and full screen snapshot. So I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like to capture a picture in a few of these, using a few of these different options. So let's do area snapshot first. When I select that, what it does is provide me this box, and I use this box to frame the area space or the object I want to take a picture of. I can move it around, and I can use the handlebars to make smaller adjustments. Okay. When I'm ready to snap my picture, over to the left I see a camera snapshot dialog box, and I can choose up to 5 different ways that this picture is going to be captured and where it's going to be placed. So if I was to choose current page, it takes a snapshot picture and places it somewhere on the current flip chart page I'm working within. Let's try a different way. So my main menu, Tools, Camera. This time I'm going to choose point-to-point. When I choose point-to-point, what I have to do is left-click different points around an area of space or an object that I want to take a picture of until I go back to where I started and I close up an area of space. Now over to the left, this time I'm going to choose something different. I'm going to choose New Page. And when I choose New Page, what it does is it puts that picture on a new flip chart page at the very end of the flip chart. So if I switch to my page browser, I can see here's page number 1 and here's page number 2, which is what I'm currently on. And I'll navigate back to page 1. Let's do this one more time. Main menu, Tools, Camera, and this time I'm going to choose Freehand Snapshot. When I choose Freehand Snapshot, I have to use my mouse by clicking and dragging around an area of space or an object that I want to take a picture of. This is definitely the more messy option, but it would be appropriate if you're trying to capture a picture of an object that is an unusual shape. And I'm going to choose Clipboard this time as to how I want to capture the picture, because with Clipboard, that enables me to navigate within my flip chart or to an entirely different flip chart and place that captured picture wherever I want it to go. So I'm going to navigate to the second page in my flip chart, and then when I want to add it, I'll simply right click, and from the drop down menu I'm going to click on Paste. So those are some basic instructions about where to find the camera tool and how to use it. Let's look at how you would use it instructionally speaking. In this flip chart, on this particular page, I see a table here with numbers, and the numbers are representing a relationship. In the story, The Doorbell Rang, it's about a grandmother that's baked a dozen of cookies, and the rule is with her grandchildren that they have to be shared. And so when there's one grandchild, that one grandchild has all 12 cookies to him or herself. But when a second grandchild comes to the house, they have to be shared, so that would mean they each have 6. And when a third grandchild comes, that means that each grandchild gets 4 cookies, etc. When you're teaching this, it would be really helpful to have the students understand this relationship if they were able to graph it. So on the next page, the opportunity to graph this relationship exists. But in order for students to graph it, they need to be able to see that data. And right now, the way it's set up, they're having to flip back and forth between 2 flip chart pages in order to see the ordered pairs that they need to graph on this particular graph. So it would be appropriate and make sense, certainly make it easier for the students, if a picture was taken of this table and pasted right next to the graph so they could see what they needed to graph and simply do it. So let's do that example right now. Main menu, Tools, Camera, and I think an area snapshot option is the one that makes the most sense. It'll be clean and quick. So I'm simply going to frame the table that I want to take a picture of. And I'm going to choose the clipboard option because I know exactly where I want to paste this picture. I'm now going to navigate to the flip chart page where I want it to go and right-click, paste, and here it is. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to click on it, left-click, and I can use the handlebars to resize it, making it a little bit more appropriate. And now it becomes very easy for students to see the ordered pairs that they need to plot on this graph in order to visually have a stronger understanding of the relationship of these numbers and what's happening. Here's one more example. It may be that you need to take a picture of something that's on a website or something that's in a file that you have outside of Active Studio. And the example I'm going to use is a graphic organizer. It may be that something that you need to teach, there's a graphic organizer to go with it. And instead of having to recreate this graphic organizer in Active Studio using additional tools, why not just take a picture of it so that you can annotate over it right away? So in order to make that happen, I'm going to go back to ActivInspire, and I'm going to have to use another tool in addition to my camera tool, and that's going to be my desktop tool. So going over to the main menu, I'm going to click on my desktop tools. That's going to minimize ActivInspire, and my desktop tool is actually right here. It's called the Wonder Wheel now, and when I hover over it, it shows me several different tools available to use while I'm annotating over the desktop. And if you notice in the lower left corner, I see my camera tool, and of course the 5 options for how I can capture a picture. Again, I think using the area snapshot would be most appropriate. So I'm going to select that and then take that box and frame it around this graphic organizer. And I'm going to choose the clipboard option because, again, I know exactly where I want it to go on my flip chart, and I just want to be direct and place it there. So once I've selected it, I need to come back to my Wonder Wheel, and I need to click on the icon for returning to my flip chart. Once I've done that, I can simply do a right click to paste what's in my clipboard, that picture, and here it is. It's a little small, so I'll left click on it and use those handlebars to resize it to something more appropriate and useful. And now I'm all ready to annotate over top of it using my pen tool, and I can engage my students and using this flip chart, using this graphic organizer to teach my lesson. And I saved myself a lot of time because I was able to use the camera tool to simply copy and paste it instead of having to recreate it.